Hi, this is the only 20 Excel formula that you need to know to master Excel. And we're going to learn all these 20 formula in next 20 minutes. At the end of the video, I'm going to share you some tips to remember this formula and also an Excel sheet to practice this formula so that you can master Excel. So let's dive into the computer and start today's learning session. So before starting the video, I would like to tell you at the end of the video, I'm going to share you most useful Excel shortcut that is going to make your life easy. So let's get started the video. So first formula we're going to learn is auto sum. So I have the data set here where I have the quarterly sale for the products. So I need to find out the annual sale for the products. So and as well the quarterly total sales. So we will be using two formula to find out the results. So first, if I want the sales of particularly for one product for annual sales, let's say I want iPhone 14 annual sales, so I'll just click the cell and I'll enter the shortcut, which is for Windows all plus equals, and for Mac it is command shift plus T. So you press it and just click on it. So I have already got the results for product wise annual sales. So now if I want the quarterly sales, I can do the same thing. I can click the cell, again press the shortcut alt plus equals, and for Mac I can press control command shift plus T, and I can just scroll it down to the end. So this is how I can find the auto sum of this data. So there is one more way I can show you how you can find out auto sum. So instead of entering formula, you can just select the cell and just select one row extra and one cell extra. Go to this auto sum button, press it, and you will have the results. So let's move to the next formula, which is conditional formatting. So we're going to learn conditional formatting in this video. Conditional formatting means you are formatting your dataset or your table by using certain conditions. So I have the employee dataset here where I have the employee salary, and let's say I want to format the employee who has less than 50,000 salary. So I can select the column here and go to this section which is conditional formatting, and you can go to the highlight sales by rules, and there are so many options are there. So I will be selecting less than, and I'll be entering 50,000 to find out the employee who has less than 50,000 salary. Let's say color, I can select green and press OK. So this is how you can format your cell by condition. So if you want to set any other conditions, you can select the cell here and go to conditional formatting again, and let's say this time we want to find out the employee who has more than 50,000 salary. So we can go to the same cell highlight by rules, greater than we can select, and we can this time we can enter 50,000. So it is going to show us the employee who has more than 50,000 salary. So you can see this employee has more than 50,000 salary and this employee has more than 50,000 salary. You can also use other functions as well. So you can select the cell, go to highlight by rules, and you can select the duplicate values. So this is how it's going to color the duplicate in other color. Let's say we want duplicate in yellow. So you can see all the yellow selected cells are duplicates. In this video, we're going to learn data validations. So data validations means that you are setting some rules to enter data by you or other person in certain cells. So I have the data set here where I have the employee name and the start time. So I want the employee to enter the time only between 9 to 10. So if they are entering any time which is other than 9 to 10 a.m., so it will give them some error. So I'm going to create this by going to this tab data sections, and by clicking on this option which is data validations, and then I can set my rules. So I'll just select the settings. So the types of data I want, which I'll select as a time, and I want between, of course, which is 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and in input message you can type like enter login time, and error message, if in case if they enter something else, you can type an error message like please enter time between 9 to 10 a.m. 9 to 10. So you can select that, press OK. So now if I go ahead and enter, let's say 9 a.m. So if I enter 9 a.m. so it'll allow. If I enter 11 a.m. it will not allow. It will give me error, says please enter time between 9 to 10. So same way you can use data validations for multiple functions. You can set some other conditions as well. So the next topic we're going to learn is freeze colon. So we'll go to the next sections, and now here you can see we have a big data set and we want to freeze the header. So for that you can just go to view from the top and click on the freeze top rows. So this is going to freeze the first rows, and even if you scroll it down, your rows would be frozen. So the next topic we're going to learn is VLOOKUP. So I have a data set here where I have the employee ID, first name, last name, age, gender, job title, salary, start date, end date. So I need to find out this annual salary. However, I cannot see annual salary in this data set. So I have one more data set here which is salary sheet, and in this sheet I can see the annual salary. So I need to enter annual salary in this sheet from this sheet by using VLOOKUP and using employee ID. So we will select the cell here and type VLOOKUP. Now I need to select the lookup. So what I am looking up, so I'll select this. I'm looking for this cell here, select comma. So next it's asking table arrays, so where I'm going to look up this this employee ID. So I'll select, go to this next sheet and select the data set from here to here, select a comma. So next it is asking colon index number. So basically what I want in return, so I need to enter that colon index number. So the first column is considered 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So I want this column in return, so I'll select 9 as returns, again enter comma. So now you need to select true or false. True means approximate match and false means exact match. So we want exact match. So basically if the employee ID match, then only the annual salary will show up. So we'll select false here, close the bracket, press enter. So now you can see the annual salary which has come from the second sheet by using VLOOKUP. So same if we want to apply it with the other, so you can just click on this and all the employee annual salary will be popped up from this sheet to here by using VLOOKUP. So the next topic we will learn about pivot table and how we can use pivot table to solve problems. So I have a data set here where I have the date, product name, price, revenue, returns. So the questions I have here is that find out sales and return by products. So per product sales and return we want to know. So first we will select the sheet and go to insert and select pivot. So in the pivot table we will need to select the range which is already selected. Now in the second we need to select, choose where to place the pivot table. So either you can select as a existing worksheet and you can select the locations, or you can select new worksheet. So I'll select in existing sheet and I will select the locations as here and then press OK. So now in pivot table you need to first understand like what you are looking for. So in our questions we want to know the sales and return by products. So the products would come under rows, so we will drag the products and drag into the rows. Now we want to know per product sales and returns. So revenue is going to be in values and the return is going to be in values again. So that's it. So now here we have the product name, we have the revenue of the product and return of the product. So this is how you can create pivot table. So row is basically filtering out total, let's say airport total sales and total returns. So you need to first understand the data and then you can create pivot table like this. So next topic we will learn how to remove duplicates from your data set. So I have the data set here where I have the employee ID, name, department, business unit. So now you can see there are two duplicates data I have, the same employee ID, which is Kylie, and the second is Harper. So let's say we want to remove this duplicate. So we can select the sheet here first. We'll make a copy of the sheet, then paste it here, and then we'll select the sheet again and go to this data column on the top menu, and then click on remove duplicates. And yes, my list has a header, so we'll select that, OK, and press OK. So you can see that now it has deleted two duplicates. Now we only have the unique values. So same way you can remove duplicates from your Excel dataset. So next topic we will learn remove a blank space from your Excel dataset. So I have the dataset here where I can see there are a lot of blank space like this one, like this one, this one, this one, and sometimes you have a lot of blank space in your dataset and you cannot remove one by one. So to remove all the blank space, just select your dataset by Ctrl Shift and arrow, and then just press Ctrl G, and then click on this special button, and you can select on blanks, press OK. So now all the blank cell has been selected by Excel. So you can press Ctrl minus, select Shift cell up. So this is how all the blank will be gone. So this is how you can remove all the blank space from your data set. So next topic we're going to learn text to column. So let's say we have a data set and we have the text separated by comma. So let's say we want to enter the name in this cell, age in this cell, salary in this cell. So we can do that by just selecting the cell, go to the data from the top menu and select text to column and select next. Now here you can select the delimiters. So we have the data set which is separated by the comma. So we'll select comma, press next, and you can select the locations where you want the text to be. So I'll select this cell and select the location as like D3, click on finish. So you see the cell, all the text has been converted into cells now. So you see, if I want to do with the space, so I can select the cell, go to the data, click on text to column, go to next, select delimiter as space here because here the data are divided by space. So I'll click on next and select the locations again here. So I'll select the locations here as this cell, click on finish. So this is how you can transfer this text to cell by using the same method. So in this video we're going to learn concat functions. Concat function is used for joining two or multiple cell in one cell. So we have a data set here where we have the employee name, employee ID, last name, and let's say the questions we have here is that create full name by using first name and the last name, and create an email ID by combining first name, last name, and the company domain, which is abc.com. So first let's start with the, so type equals to concatenate and then select the first text, which is first cell, then add a comma. Now we want a space between first name and the last name, so we'll select quotation mark, space, quotation mark, a comma, then we'll select the second cell, close the parenthesis, press enter. This is how you can create full name by using concat functions. Now we want to create email ID, so we'll click on the cell, type equals to again concatenate, then we'll select the first text, we'll select the first text, which is first name, then we'll select the second name. Now we want this company domain, so we will select as quotation mark @abc.com, close the parenthesis, press enter. Sorry, I forgot to add the quotation marks again, so press enter. So now you can see the email has been created, and you can just drag it to the bottom to create email for all the employee. So this is how you can use concat functions. So next function we will learn about flash fill. So in flash fill, basically, so flash fill is used to subtract informations or data from one cell, and you can enter in multiple cell by using the same pattern. So we have the data which is email ID, so you can see the pattern is email. In email, the first name dot last name @tunex.com. So this is the company name. So the pattern is first name, last name company name. So let's say we will enter the first cell here, which is Jim, and we'll enter the last name here, which is Halper,
and then we will enter the company name tunx.com. Now, so we have entered first name from this email ID, last name from this email ID, and the company name from this email ID. So we'll go to the second cell and you can go to data and click on flash fill. So if you press flash fill, you see all the first name has been subtracted from the email ID. So you can click on the second cell and type Control E. So this is how also it is going to filter out the second name and it will put it here. Now if you want to subtract the company name, again press Control E as a shortcut for Windows and Mac user. So Control E. So this is how it has subtracted the company name, first name, last name from this email ID. So this is how you can use flash fill function. So next we will learn trim function. So now here I have the data set where I have the employee ID, full name, job title and department. However, the name is not entered properly. You can see there are lots of space between first and last name. There are some space between the initial name. So let's say we want to remove the extra space, so we can just click on the cell here, type equals to, enter trim, select parenthesis, select the range, close the parenthesis, press enter. So once you just double click on it and you can remove all the extra space from this cell. So this is how you can use trim functions. Trim function is extremely useful for data cleaning purpose. So the next video we're going to learn some arithmetic operations that can be performed automatically in Excel by using data analysis functions. So we have the data set here where we have the product name and the sales. So let's say we want to perform some arithmetic operations in this data set. So we can select the data set and you can go to this data options and you can go to this analysis tools and then click analysis tool pack, press OK. For my case it is already added, so I'll be clicking on this analysis, data analysis, and I'll select descriptive statistics, select OK and select the input range. So I can select the input range from here to here and the output range, so where I want the cells, where I want the arithmetic operations to be. So I'll select the output range as T2, press OK. Select the summary statistics, press OK. So this is how we can find out arithmetic operations that can be performed in this data. So you can see the mean of the data, standard deviations, mode, and so many other mathematical operations that has been performed by Excel. So we have the minimum values, which is 4250, maximum values, and total sum of the data. All the arithmetic operations that can be performed over this data, you can see this here. So you can name it as a data analysis. So the next functions we'll be using is macros. So we have a data set here where we have the data of the employee. So let's say we are supposed to find out the OTP and the net salary, and we will enter the year as well of their joining, let's say. So now macro is useful for repeated tasks, like if you are doing the same task again and again every day. So you can just save the task and apply macro next time when you have the same data. So it is extremely useful for a daily task. So let's get started. So now let's say first we will need to go ahead and enable the macro recordings. So to do that, we will first go to the home sections here and we will go to developer options from the menu. So now if you don't have the developer menu, you can go to the your setting or preferences and you can go to the ribbons and then you can go to this options called developers. Make sure this is enabled. So once this is enabled, you will have the developer menu from the top. So we'll go to the developer menu and click on record a macro. So let's say we'll name it as OTP and we will give a shortcut as, let's say, O. So Control Shift and O would be our shortcut. So we'll click on, so we'll oops, I need to keep an underscore here. So we'll click on save. So now whatever task I'm going to perform in this data, it is going to be captured and recorded under this shortcut, which is macros. And next time if I have the similar types of data, I can apply the macros and it is automatically going to do the. So let me show you how it's going to work. So let's say we want to enter the year of joining, let's say 2023, and we want to keep the same for all the employee. And now let's say we want to count. So now let's say we want to calculate the OT pay of the employee. So we'll select equals to, and we'll select the OT hours and into the rate. So we'll press OK, then just click down to the all. So this is the OT pay, and then the third task we will perform is that select the net salary. So we'll select the equals, then we'll select this cell, then plus OT. So this is how you can find out the net salary. So now we have done three tasks. First task we have done the entered annual year of the joining, then we have done calculated their OT by multiplying OT hours and the rate, and then the third task we have entered their net salary by adding their total salary plus the OT pays. So now I can stop the recording of macros from here, and the macro has been now saved. If I click on this button, I can see OT pay is the macro is already saved. So now if I, let's say I want to start with a new data, so I'll just first delete this column here. Now I have a row data. Let's say this is a new data and I don't have any, I have not yet entered the year, OTP and the net salary. So now if I want to apply the macro which I have created, so it is automatically going to enter the year, the joining year, automatically calculating the OTP and the net salary in just one click. So let's go ahead and select macros, OTP, so click on run. So you see all the information has been entered automatically. So that is the power of macro. You can capture any task and that is going to apply the next time whenever you basically select the macro and click on run, or you can press the shortcut that you have created. So next function we will be talking about COUNTIF. So COUNTIF is used to basically count of cell basis of certain conditions. So let's go ahead and see how we can use COUNTIF in this data set that we have. So we'll select one cell here and just enter equals to type COUNTIF, and then select a parenthesis, select the range, then select a comma. Now select the criteria. So what do you want to count? So let's say we want to count apple. So we'll need to enter that in the quotation. So apple quotations, close the parenthesis. So total we have 11 apple in this data set. So similarly you can use it for any other function as well. Let's say we want to count this time, and select the range from here to here. This time we want to count, we need to select COUNTIF, then select the range apple to apple, then we'll select the criteria. So now this time we want mango, so make sure you are selecting quotation mark and enter your criteria. So now while looking for mango, close the quotation mark, close the parenthesis. So now you see we have 3 mango, 1 mango, 2 mango and 3 mango in the data set. So this is how the COUNTIF is very useful when you are looking for certain things and you can apply certain conditions to use COUNTIF. So the next functions we will learn is protect cell. Protect cell is very important when you are sharing your informations with some other party or other person and you don't want to keep complete access to that person. So we have the data set here, and first we will convert this data set into a table. So we'll press Ctrl T and press OK. So now data set has been converted into table. So we will go ahead and use the protect this data set. So we'll go to this column on the top menu which says format. So we'll go to format, click on protect sheet. So now we will enter a password. Let's say abc123 abc123. So now in this side you can give this access to the person who is going to use this sheet. So if you want to give any access, so let's say we want to give access of auto filter. or if you want to give access them to delete any cell from the sheet, you can give whatever the access you want to give. So we will give access as use auto filter. So press OK. So now we have this data which is protected. So if I want to change something, it will not allow me. So let's say if I want to use the filter functions, so if I select, go to this, and let's say want to filter by HR, so you can see the filter function is working because the filter access was given. So you can select like whatever the access you want to keep, and the person will only have that limited access. And whenever you want to remove the password, you can just go to the format and unprotect sheet, enter the password abc123. So now the sheet is unprotected and you can apply or change anything. So the next functions we will learn about date functions. So date function is extremely important when you are trying to calculate the number of days between one to another dates, or number of years between one to date. So we will use this date functions here. So we have a data set. I'll first delete this, and we have a data set where I have the employee ID, name, gender, so start date, end date. So we have two questions here which I need to answer. So first questions is finds out number of days this employee has worked in this company. So second finds out number of years this employee has served in this company. So to do that, I'll just select the cell and type equals and type days, as I want to count the days. So I'll type days, and then I'll select the end date, which is end date this, select a comma, select the start date, close the parenthesis, and press enter. So this is the number of days that employee has worked in this company. So if I just double click on it, all the employee working days has been appeared in this cell. So now let's say I want to find out the total. So now I don't want this after decimal numbers, so I can just double click on it and just apply one filter which is called round up. So I'll just click on round up. I'll just delete this parenthesis. So round up and select the cell, click a comma. So I want round up by 0, so I'll just select, close the parenthesis, press enter. So basically, so I have rounded up the information by 0, so you can see all the number of working years has been appeared. So next functions we will be learning about if error. So I'll tell you how it is helpful and where you can use if error. So we have a data set here where we have the product name, price, quantity sold, and the revenue we need to calculate. So now in this data I can see some of the quantity showing as B, NA, right? So let's say if we try to calculate the revenue of this product, so let's say use equals to, select this and multiply by the quantity. So this is how we can find out total sales. We just scroll it down, you can see this value is showing as error, right? So this is also showing as error, this is also showing as error, because you cannot multiply integer, you cannot multiply numbers by the alphabet or by characters, right? So let's say now we want to fix it, right? If we have a big data set, you want wherever there is a incorrect quantity, so you want to correct it. So what you can do, you can just click on this cell here, and let's say we can use if functions, if error functions. If error, then we'll select this values. Now you need to enter what do you want to display if error occurs. So let's say we want to error replaced by 0, so I'll close the brackets, press enter. Now if we just apply it to all the cell, now you see wherever it found any error, let's say it was B here, so it has given 0. So it has given 0. Now you can perform any, let's say functions here. So now you can use auto functions here to sum all the sales. Now let's say I want, if it's error issues, give me a sign like NA. So if error, so in the second value I can enter whatever I want to display, right? So if I say NA, so whatever you enter, if you are entering any text, make sure you are entering under 2 quotation marks. So I'll press enter, apply it to the all cell. You see, so wherever it found error, it has given me as NA. So similarly you can modify it, like if it is error, so you can say it's error in quantity. Yeah, so you can apply this same to the all cell. So you can see the error message is displaying like it's error in quantity. So the next functions will be learn about changing the case of text in Excel. So I have a data set here where I have the full name, and we can see that the names are not entered properly. So the initial name start with the small letter. So similarly the last name start with the, so here initial name again start with a small letter, and here the last name start with the small letter again. So we can change this text into proper case. In proper case, basically the name would be like this, where the initial name and the last name would start with capital letter and end with the small letter. So to do that, we will just press equals and type proper, select parenthesis, select the range, close parenthesis, press enter. So same, we can just scroll it down to the end to apply the same filter to all this cell. And now we want the name to be converted in lowercase, so we can just type equals to lower, select the cell, close the brackets, press enter, and apply to the all cell. So same, if you want to convert this to the uppercase, just press equals to, type upper, select parenthesis, select the cell, apply to the all, select the cell, double click on plus button. So this is how the name will be applied to all. So this is how the case will change to proper case, lowercase, and uppercase. Thank you so much for watching the whole video, and I really appreciate your time, and I'm sure you have learned so much things in this video. I would really appreciate if you give any feedback so I can improve. So here are the Excel top shortcut that is used for Mac and Windows user.